Okay, the time is 6 o'clock, and I call the June 2nd, 2021 Borough Council workshop to order, and we will begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have an audience. And any public comment here at Borough Hall? Seeing none. Stephanie, do we have anything by Zoom? Okay. Then we will move on to meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. There is a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes. Next is the mayor's report. In the mayor's absence, I'll call on Chief Landis. We have a report on K9.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor-elect.
Not quite yet, but close enough.
Borough Council. It comes to you this evening, the presentation. As you see the public briefing summary, I often confuse it with a public peanut butter and jelly sandwich with public briefing summary in reference to a K9, an additional K9 unit to the Carlisle Police Department. What we're hoping for is your permission to solicit funds and to engage in fundraising for this very purpose. This particular K9 would be a actual community engagement tool, whereas as much as I like Corporal Kurtz and Chaos is not a community engagement tool. However, there's a lot of people out there who want to see the K9 and want to know how we do things. I'm looking for explosives detection and tracking, but not a patrol dog. This dog would not be anything like, wouldn't be the same breed as Chaos, which is a Belgian Malinois, and known for their tenacity and their ability to do things. What we're hoping to do is to get people to know about Carlisle through this K9, this dog, and be quite frank with you, we have many public events, and in your packet it tells how many public events we have. And one of my concerns has been, since I've been here, the manager will always tell you that I'm always bugging about safety. I'm always concerned about that, up to and including the Borough Hall. And unfortunately, the time that we are now, we can't afford not to take precautions with the car show and the parade. And we always have a working center for first aid and police services in the middle of your parade. But the idea there that we envision this dog being detected for explosives, and afterwards Corporal Kurtz and the K9 Chaos would be able to hold that area until people come and we can assure that it's a safe people to inhabit. What we're looking for also here is as a public engagement tools that oftentimes people come up to Corporal Kurtz and say, "Can I pet the dog?" And he has a collar, says "Do not pet." And so we would like to change that around a little bit, especially the time now where police have such, because of the media mostly, and because of things that happen, how people view the police department is very different. I'm looking to try to open that up, to allow people to see what we do, see how we do things, and see, we have to go through a recruitment of an officer and interviewing and finding out which one would be best suited for this type of work. It isn't the same as a patrol dog. We're hoping not to have a breed that would even resemble a patrol dog. We've gathered some sources. We've had a generous benefactor who's willing to actually buy a vehicle and give us money to start up with the insert with a vehicle. We have publicly Sergeant Jackson's mother. You remember the late Sergeant Jackson's mother wants to purchase a dog for the Carlisle Police Department. Of course, I will tell you the dog's name will be Jackson. in memory of Sergeant Jackson. What we're hoping to do, I'm a big person in succession planning. While Corporal Kurtz is a rather young man, younger than me, his time in K9, the dog is relatively new. We've got probably about 5 years. And what I'd like to do is while Corporal Kurtz is here, we have an ongoing training with a new K9 officer and knowing how we work things here in Carlisle. It may be different in other places, but there's a lot of things that we do here that Corporal Kurtz will just take on the chin and go ahead and do things, costing the borough little money in that way. And so we'd like to have that attitude and that be carried on to the new K9 officer. We have several ways that we plan to raise money, and our finance department could in fact take the money, take the funding. We have T-shirts that we plan to buy and sell. Support Law's Paws, kind of catchy, which I will sell to Borough Council at a discount. We've got some other things that we'd like to allow some of our businesses to participate by having people round up to the next dollar, the money from their whatever purchase they make. So it's the community involvement and the fact that it's a community K9. So we're trying to actually support both K9s generally through funding and not through the borough, through the taxpayer dollars. Let me stop and ask if there are any questions so far. That's why I have Corporal Kurtz here, in case I can't answer it.
Any questions?
So you're talking about raising enough money both to buy and train the dog, and then to support the ongoing activity for that dog or for both dogs?
Excuse me a second. I think I'm going through the change. We believe that we can support both dogs.
Okay.
Both K9s. And my thought process is that people love dogs, more than people. But the idea here is that it is our community, it is our dogs, our community K9 program we're looking at. So we're hoping to support both K9s through that program with little money coming from the borough coffers. I can't say absolutely none, but we would do our best to not do that. And I'm stating that we will raise the money. We as I said, we have a generous benefactor giving a large sum of money, and we have the dog will be donated. So we're on our way to getting that if we have your permission, which is the whole purpose of this.
So I just want to clarify one additional piece. So the officer would take care of both dogs, or there would be two different officers. So the question, Mike, is the funding
Understood.
also for the officer
Understand.
salary?
Well, no, ma'am. The salary is already budgeted. The officer is already here. We already have the officer. Which one of them will be? I would not even begin to say that we could raise enough money to put the officer's salary, but that's already budgeted. However, we believe we can raise enough money for the care and feeding and veterinarian bills of the dog, of the K9. We believe we can do that. We believe we have most of that. We have promises for more money, but the K9, one handler wouldn't handle both dogs. And as I said, I need the other handler to learn from Corporal Kurtz, who's been doing this for quite a while. I need them to learn the trade and how we do things here.
Chief, there's a small sort of increment of compensation for a canine handler, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And is that contemplated? I know you suggested maybe $11,000 a year in sort of, I'll call maintenance costs. That's included in there, that increment?
Yes.
I'm getting ahead now from the borough manager. Okay. So it sounds like you have sort of I'll call the capital costs covered through donations.
We do have that covered. We've covered quite a lot so far with promises of money. It's just that we are attempting to, before, I don't want the sources to evaporate at a time when people are actually willing to go.
Okay, and so you also, I think you mentioned tracking. That we're talking if there's a missing person, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The tracking part of it, again, not for apprehension, but for tracking. Like oftentimes we have missing children, we have missing adults. We have that happens very often. Several times a week, we have people that happen. During certain times of the year. In wintertime, we don't have that so much, but we do have that certain time of the year. We just had a child missing 4 weeks ago from around the corner, and the child made it all the way down to West South Street. Of course, I don't know where I am. Down by Parker before they found the child, 5 years old. How the child crossed college, I'll never know. But again, having the dog available would be very beneficial in those type cases. The explosives part of it is a part that is also very valuable, and the idea that we have those threats. We have had those threats right here. And so it would be beneficial to have the canine here for our purposes. And one of the issues is that if there were a big search for an explosive device, you need more than one dog. So we'd have to call on our partners to try to do that also. So, we would be doing our fair share for our own stuff and helping other people.
And then before I move on to my right, you will eventually, I understand, need authority from council to receive the donations.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Do you need that tonight, or is that for a future meeting?
That is for yesterday, if I could get it.
Okay. All right. That's all. Any other questions?
Just hopefully quick ones. So the movie, it looks like a lot of the upfront costs will be covered with fundraising. Is the expectation to continue to fundraise in future years? So if the price tag is 3 years from now, it's still $10,000 for upkeep. Is that still fundraising, or will that be a request back to us for a budget line item type?
Our plan is to never come to you for a budget line item request. Our plan is to raise that money, and if you wish to put a clause in there that the program goes defunct, that's how confident I am that we can raise the money.
Great. Nope, that's a great answer. And then just the last question I had, you have a lot of lists of events on here, which I think is helpful for us. Is there any compensation if I don't want to get too specific, if there's a large outdoor show of some sort and they want a dog to come through and sweep, does the borough charge them for that, or is that a service that the borough provides because it's a public event?
Well, I think that if it's a public event and it's here, then we're just about obligated. If it's a public event and it's here and it's our event, then I think that we would then have to provide the safety for that.
Mm-hmm.
We take on a lot when we block off the street, and we have different things there. So I think we're required. However, there are other situations where they may want the area swept with the private industry, and then we could have a surcharge for that.
Great, thanks.
Haven't figured out what it is yet, but we could do that.
Councilor Stubbe, Councilor Hicks.
No question.
Okay, go ahead.
So I like to think of things comprehensively and why we do one thing in one way and one thing in another. Maybe it's just understanding. So the other thing that we've been looking into has been co-responder. And so my question is fundraising for that position as well. So, I mean, you're basically asking for fundraising to try to get a dog that would help with a safety issue, and the co-responder is also a safety issue within the borough. So I guess I'm trying to understand, where we are with that, and understanding how we could, if we're going to approve one type of fundraising, if that's possible to do that for a co-responder as well. But I don't know what the details are. It's a general open question.
I don't know the latest that I know we have a grant submission on the co-responder, and I don't know that we've heard back on that yet. I haven't seen it yet.
No, a call was, I did receive a voicemail. I returned that call, but I haven't received a status update yet, but I'll probably be, pardon?
There was a grant submission to the Partnership for Better Health. and we don't have the latest on that quite yet. But everything was very positive.
Council Landis,
So,
it isn't actually directed at me, but there's a lot of moving parts here. A whole lot of moving parts. We are working on, the co-responders, and with the Carlisle Police Department being the test case for that, we desperately understand the necessity for such things. And we also understand the fact that, we have basically one tool at our disposal, and we could use more tools at our disposal. So we understand that, and this is just, if you're looking at the line of things we're doing, this is one more thing that we're trying to get done. We're trying to do most of these things at the same time.
okay. Any further follow-up? None?
I would imagine this is a capability that could be of use to adjacent police units, state police. Is there any thought given to complement or supplement a request made to a nearby police that in addition to being useful would potentially be we get compensated for that use? So have you thought about that?
Sir, there is that, but in law enforcement, it kind of works like this: we help you, and you help us when we need help. And there's been plenty of times when we've needed help, and the state police have come down in droves. For example, Saturday a week ago, I mean, they sent an army of troopers to the borough of Carlisle upon request. And so, generally speaking, unless it was a civilian event that someone was having, was concerned about safety, the law enforcement people who are doing a job, we normally help them, they help us.
That makes sense. Do you anticipate being asked to support adjacent police forces with this capability, which again seems pretty rare, I guess? I don't know who the next adjacent police force that has this capability is, but is this something we could share the capability?
In a word, yes, sir. We would share. We could and would. We share now with Corporal Kurtz and Chaos, usually in criminal apprehension type situations, or it's actually used to help people surrender without having to apprehend them. But this dog wouldn't be used in that way. But yes, we would do that. And let's face it, missing children brings everyone out. That's the one call, other than someone hurt, that every officer in the police station leaves, including myself. We all go, and multiple jurisdictions will come in for missing children if that happens. So, we have to keep that, lack of a better word, goodwill going between other agencies.
Okay. So, if there's nothing further, is there a motion to authorize the Borough of Carlisle to receive donations for the purpose of acquiring a second canine?
I move to approve.
There's a motion by Councilor Hicks. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion and a second by Councilor Fulham Winston. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those, aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. You have your authority.
Thank you very much. We won't let you down.
You're welcome. We'll move on to Employee Relations Citizen Participation Committee. Councilor Stupin.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I have 4 items this evening, 2 related to appointments for the Human Relations Commission and 2 appointments for the Parks and Recreation Board. First, I move that Council appoint Christina Kapp to a partial term as an alternate on the Human Relations Commission. The term will become effective immediately and will expire on February 29th, 2024.
There is a motion, and I will second that motion. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I move that Council appoint John Sievers to a partial term as an alternate on the Human Relations Commission. The term will become effective immediately and will expire on February 28th, 2022.
There is a motion to appoint Mr. Sievers as an alternate to the Human Relations Commission, which I will second. Call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I move that council appoint Jennifer Love to a full term on the Parks and Recreation Board. The term will become effective July 1st, 2021, and will expire on June 30th, 2025.
There is a motion to appoint Jennifer Love to a full term on the Parks and Rec Board. I will second that motion. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes.
And finally, I move that council appoint Curtis Stevens to a full term on the Parks and Recreation Board. The term will become effective July 1st, 2021, and will expire on June 30th, 2025.
Motion to appoint Curtis Stevens to a full term on the Parks and Rec Board. I will second. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes my report this evening.
And Public Works.
Yes, we have 3 items tonight. The first is about filters that are used at the water plant to keep sediment out of the creek. And I would ask Borough Council to approve the purchase of replacement filter panels through the CoStars program.
There is a motion for the purchase of replacement filter panels. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
The next item is about the upkeep of the Pomfret Street garage and looking for a better bid to have some repair work done. I'd ask Borough Council to reject bids received for the Pomfret Street parking garage concrete coating project.
A motion to reject bids received for the Pomfret Street parking garage concrete coating project. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
And our third item, I think, will be especially pleasing to our residents. The Borough Council may approve a recycling grant agreement for the purchase of leaf collection equipment so that people can stop using the bags.
There is a motion for the purchase of, for the approval of a recycling grant agreement for the purchase of leaf collection equipment. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes.
And that completes my report.
Thank you. Any new business? I know we gave you first crack. Any public comment? Seeing that, I should mention that Mr. Stevens is here with us in the first row. Thank you for agreeing to serve the people of Carlisle, Mr. Stevens. Stephanie, anyone?
Miss Wanda Hunter is on the Zoom call and would like to make a comment.
Okay, Ms. Hunter.
Road. I would like to thank all of you for supporting the Memorial Day celebration. When I looked out over the attendees and saw all of my council members, I know you are dedicated to the cause we are working toward. And this is for a better Carlisle than what it was. I really appreciate all of you, and I can't thank you enough for being in attendance. And I would just like to share that it was covered on Channel 27. Those that did not see it, someone had sent me the clip. It was good, but I can't thank you enough. You just made me feel so good on Monday.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. We appreciate it. Any other public comment?
I would just like to remind everyone that leaves are biodegradable, and leaving them in your lawn is a perfectly good option.
I'm not. You're going to try to top that.
Something.
Go ahead, Councilor Stevens.
I just as a reminder, since we won't be meeting again before then, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission had its first meeting, and at the conclusion of that, scheduled its second meeting, which is scheduled for 6 p.m. next Monday, and I believe they're planning to hold it over Zoom. So we won't have a meeting before then, but if anyone's planning to attend, everyone on council is more than welcome to, and anyone in the public is as well.
Okay, thank you for the reminder.
And I'll make one more additional reminder. The All-American City Award is going to be next Tuesday at 2 p.m. And you'll have a link, Stephanie, on our website. So we have a number of different residents who are speaking on behalf of 3 different projects that we've worked on, and so it's going to be wonderful. We did a dry run today, and we're doing pretty well. So all of the public can catch the Zoom link and see the presentation and then the award ceremony as well. So Stephanie will put that up in the
2 p.m. when?
2 p.m. on Tuesday is when we actually give the presentation. Stephanie's made a beautiful video. It's incredible. And then a number of different folks are going to be speaking.
And then they announce the awards Wednesday at 7:30. So
yes.
That'll be when we find out.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else for the good of the order?
I want to forecast something that we don't have all the details with, but it's going to be on us quickly. The DCA is starting an initiative working with Sadler Health to bring businesses together, particularly in the C1 area, but throughout the borough, to offer small incentives for individuals who have not been vaccinated to get a one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccination on Hanover, adjacent to Sadler. We're working with local businesses to donate, and we have strong support from Manal and others at Sadler who are running a little low on RSVPs for vaccination. So we're trying something new, and for 5 days we're going to do this and see how many folks we can get out. More to come on that. We'll have a little bit more detail on the CAN meeting tomorrow, but by next council meeting, I hope to be able to share some more details on that.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? Then, without objection, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.